you're obviously familiar with, well, I'd imagine you're familiar with the Degen Generation doco series movie film that I'm working on right now, and so there's some subject matter there that I would like to touch on with you.
Sure, sure.
And so, like, let's just dive in, mate. And in your words, I'd like to try to understand the Degen philosophy from your perspective and how it fits into the real world.
Okay. Yeah, so the Degens, as we pronounce it, were in our neck of the woods. I guess they're the gamblers. They're the all-out gamblers. I have a little bit in me myself, and I try to run from it. That's why I stay Kex. But where it runs into, where it blends into the real world, I would say would be Vegas. Crypto is the casino. Pulse Chain's the casino of our world. How I like to say it is Hex is my heaven, Pulse is my playground.
It's got a
Some
nice
people
ring to it.
some people like to go to Vegas to win, but most don't. Most don't. I don't know what the statistics are in Vegas because I no longer gamble. Thank you, my brother Richard Hart. Um, but yeah, the closest thing would be Vegas to Pulse Chain. It's degen philosophy. Wait till the top of the bull markets here. You're gonna see a lot of partying. You're gonna see a lot of Vegas. You're gonna see a lot of Miami, and that's where the two worlds will collide.
Right, okay. Got ya. So essentially the Degan philosophy from your perspective is the gambling lifestyle, the easy come, easy go kind of lifestyle that you see in these settings.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. And I think we need to fix that in our culture. It's I don't believe in. I'm sure it can't happen. Getting rich overnight, but
Yeah,
what are the
because
statistics of that truly happening?
well, exactly. They say about casinos that the house is stacked against you. So is that the case?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same? Is that the case with these blockchain projects as well, like Pulse and what have you?
Well, if you're gonna say that, you'd have to determine who or what is the house. You know, in our case, I like to think as Paul Sex is the house. Paul Sex is the casino. So by owning the casino, Paul Sex, with its buy and burn, you actually own the house. So you are the house.
Right.
You
Okay.
you get to buy into the house almost with our in our world, which is nice. Like it'd be like going into some casino and buying stock in it for, in crypto you can do it for $1. You can't do that in the real world. That's where we have an advantage. Us degens can buy the casino. We can buy stock in the casino and profit off it. Whereas gamblers, they just, Vegas is built off of losers, not winners. But Pulse X, it's another story.
Okay. That's interesting because obviously to run with that analogy a little further, often the house in Vegas or wherever would, not allow certain clientele in. Now,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, due to certain behaviors, I assume you see similar behaviors in the Deegan lifestyle. The people that are supposedly owning or holding stock in the house, they're not able to, lock people out, basically. Any cunt can come in, right? Any
Mm-hmm.
anonymous like Joe Blogs with $1 billion can come in and fuck shit up. Is that fair to say?
Well, if you came in with $1 billion, the only thing you F up is the price. You F the price way up because that brings in money and creates value. Now, if it's a malicious person who's going to just, dump on you, but or start rugs, that's what we need to be fearful of are rugs, honeypots, and scammers.
Yeah,
And
so
scammers make rugs and honeypots, so the scammers. Someone
exactly.
with $1 billion isn't, that's good for us. So
And that makes me think as well, you know, there's been a shit ton of projects come out on Pulse Chain. I've been trying to follow all of them. You've got one going, which I'd like to query you on. But
okay.
is that not essentially pitching a tent in the middle of the fucking casino floor and starting a new casino within the casino and not knowing, who's operating that within inside that tent, if you
Yeah,
like?
there is risk to that, and that's why whenever people tag me on X or in Telegram about some new project, I always look to find out who's behind it. A lot of time it's anonymous. I stay away. If I know a good amount of people in our community, and if I don't know the guy, then it's usually a red flag. I try, or I ask somebody about like, what is this? Who is this? And if they don't know anything about it, I pass. I stay away from it. And honestly, I don't really dabble in many of those things anyway.
Right, okay. And I mean, you do have your own tent, if we can call it that. I understand it's a little bit unique in the fact that there's only one Rob. Is that right?
Oh, yes, yes. So I guess I'll start off on that. That's a funny story. So a few of the guys on Twitter, whenever this all first, whenever I first came out, said, "Hey, let's start a Telegram, and we can organize, and maybe we'll find a way to get Richard to accept your apology and figure things out." And it started growing. It just we got up to like 200 people quite fast, and they started joking around like, "Oh, when's the Richard's brother token?" I was like, I never had any plans on making a token because I no longer want to be in competition with my brother. That does not interest me. It's a losing battle. You'll lose every time. But I thought of a way that maybe if I could find a way to make this right and prove to him that I am worthy and can help build his blockchain. Fuck, I need to, you know, cut that part out. I fucked that up. What was the question?
What the bloody hell is Rob, mate?
Oh, so the funnest. So yeah, we started the Telegram. Um, just a couple of us and working together in efforts to get Richard to possibly forgive me and make things right with him. And everyone was asking, "Oh, when token? When token?" I had no plans of releasing a token because I in no way wanted to be in competition with my brother. Right, that it's a losing battle. But I thought of a way. I think we can make it work because they've been asking nonstop for a token this, token that. So I said, I was driving and I was like, well, how many brothers does my brother have? One, right? How about we just make it a token in appreciation of our brotherhood? And the supply will forever be pegged to the amount of brothers Richard has, which is one.
Right.
And
Okay.
that birth Rob, the Richard's only brother token.
So you are the underlying asset then.
I wanted it to, I didn't want it to be all about me, but some way or another, um, it just kind of evolved into that, almost as if it's the first tokenized little brother on the blockchain. Um, when I, play with other communities out in the playground, that is X, meme competitions, the token kept on going up. Whenever whatever. I'd play around and dunk on a community. Oh, token goes up. When I make some memes, token goes up. TikTok token goes. It just keeps going up. It takes some dips here and there, but we're still trying to figure out really what Rob is.
Right, okay. And so I'm just trying to understand how people get in on Rob if there's only one bloody token, right? Is it fractional stuff or
Yeah. So much like my brother who invented Hart's Law, I'm still working on this, but I call it Rob's Law of One, meaning the smaller the number, the bigger the number. You know what I mean?
I don't?
So you know how there's one token?
Yeah,
You, did you see how expensive it is?
I didn't, mate.
Yeah, it's like $130,000 for one. But yeah, that's how it works. Is there's just one token. I launched it, and then people started buying it, and then they bought pieces of the one token.
Right, okay. And what are those pieces called?
Um, I've been calling them Roberts lately because we did a little meme competition. I said, well,
How many Roberts are in a Rob then, mate?
that's the thing. There's only one unit, and there's no fractionalized piece. So the best way been able to fractionalize it is by 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, 0.001. You know what I mean? And that's the whale, shark. So basically, what people are shooting for are the aquatic animal positions in Rob. That's probably the easiest way to break down Rob is percentage ownership.
Got ya. Okay. Well, have you had a chance to, or do you have a clear path of communications with your brother, and have you had any feedback from him in that regard?
Unfortunately, no, I haven't. Um, I have not been talking to him recently.
I know you are aiming to be reunited with him this year, right?
Sometime in the future.
Yeah, I guess he's probably looking at Robin, waiting for it to hit a certain threshold before he reaches out. But best of
I
luck,
mean,
man.
maybe it's bigger than Rob. This is bigger than Rob. This is bigger than me. This is even bigger than him. This is about free speech and the freedom to transact.
Anonymously.
Yeah.
And about that anonymity that exists, does that ever, you know, fuck with your brain a bit? This idea that there's a lot of different narratives, and arguably you could call them characters in this space, and ever really, you can't really ever know their motivations. All you can do is kind of second guess or try to play this so-called 4D chess that they go on about. Does that How
It
does it
it
sit
does
with
a
you?
little bit because there's a lot of people out there that are just anonymous, and what do you got to hide, man? Like, I'm here's my face. I'm doxxed. My brother shows his face. What do you guys got to hide that we don't?
Yeah, clearly, I mean, obviously I've seen many waves of paranoia running on X and in the grams, as you call it. Most of those relationships can be summed up as transactional. Obviously, you do this for me, I do that for you. Almost every single relationship is transactional in crypto, right?
Hmm.
There are, would you say there are any benevolent, you know, iconic people in the space that, deserve are worthy of maybe a little bit more attention for all their, you know, heartful efforts that go on?
Absolutely. There are a lot of people, even though I still value anonymous people, right? But I keep both eyes open when I'm looking across the street in that case. But when it comes to some of the people I really value, if that's what we're getting at in this community, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get your point on this, on these, transactional relationships where everything is, nobody does fuck all for anybody unless they do something in return.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Okay. So for example, I've never given out Rob for free, and it was very hard to get people to shill or, jump on board at first. But what I hear from a lot of other communities is they get pre-allocations and they're incentivized to. And that's something that I didn't much care for in our community. You know what I mean? Because they're just getting paid to dump on your head. It's the oldest story in the world. That's where I try to take a different approach and not give out any pre-allocations. If you're here, it's because you want to be here. And that I believe is what translated to such great price performance. Because if you bought Rob, it's because if you have Rob, it's because you bought it, right? You didn't get a pre-allocation for free to go chill and dance around on X to get little Johnny in to go dump on his head whenever you hit a 2X. We got to think bigger than that.
Yeah, and I mean, I can dig that, but it's so, I think it's so easy to automate a lot of this behavior, and it comes back to this idea of anonymity in the space, right? How do you know when any trading activity on Rob or whatever token is actually just a bunch of bots as opposed to human beings that want to support you? Does it
So
matter?
it does matter. Um, but both are good. So if you look at some of the transactions, you can clearly see that a lot of the very small transactions are bots because who's trading 88 cents? You know what I mean? No offense to anyone that does. Some of us need to. Actually, you should just stay text with it. But within, we need actual live people in our communities more so than bots. Bots only help. They kind of hurt too, but whatever, they're a necessary evil. But yeah, for example, is if we had a bunch of holders, and if we had 10 holders and 100 bot holders, and I airdropped an NFT to the Rob Tards, there's gonna be 10 dudes to show up on Twitter because all of them are bots and they don't actually exist because the AI hasn't gotten that far. But I do know people that are actually working on that as well.
Yeah, no, I've read some fucking crazy stories lately on about how AI is going to, what the role of AI is going to be in the content creation space for these projects as well. So
Good Lord.
automating all of this essentially noise on social media. And, that brings me to the point of what is the role of the content creator in, within a community, or what's the future of the role of the content creator? Because I've watched the Tang Gang just fucking hammer shit out. I've been watching you hammer shit out as well. And, what's the level of importance of a content creator, and is their role going to diminish in the future, do you think, due to AI advances?
I mean, with AI art and stuff, like it's cool, it's fun to play around with, but you can't automate blood, sweat, and tears. You just can't do it. You can look at it and say, "Oh, that's nice," but you know that that didn't take 8 man hours. to accomplish, right? And I think there's a bit of a flood of automated art into our industry. And I saw this taking place before Pulse in the ETH NFT world. And I thought to myself, I hope Pulse Chain's different. I want to help change that about our crypto community. But as for content creators, let's just be real, Tom. How how many hundreds of years do you think it's going to take AI to do a better job than what we can?
Mate, I don't know, like I think it will probably be in the next 5 to 10 where we'll see it really take over.
Yeah,
But the
and
way I've
maybe
been
maybe I try a little harder than you, but no one's taking my job in 10 years.
the way I've yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I'm with you. I prefer to see I mean, I like the process, and I think many content creators like the process as well. They don't, they're not just there for the results. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, what I'm reading on the AI content creation side is that you'll just have a fucking assistant. So instead of sitting down and doing your work and planning shit out, you'll just say to this thing, go and generate this shit and flood this fucking chat and target this, and it'll just go and do it and come back with some results later on, whatever they might be, which is just sounds extremely boring to me. If you're, if you're wanting to be creative and you've reduced it to to a prompt or just a series of prompts, and just to drive traffic to your NFT website, I don't know. I think that's just deeply dissatisfying multiple dimensions. But I won't go into that any further unless you want to add something in that regard.
I am the future. I'm trying to help make the future that I want to see. Whenever I make content, it's my man hours, it's my calloused thumbs spending hours and hours over video editing software on my phone and on GIMP on my PC to then provide the best quality content that I possibly ever can. Because this is our legacy that we're trying to build. This is going to last forever. So we need to make it last forever. Now, if I just have something automated to do it for me, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a subject matter for another conversation. So we'll carry on with these questions here because
Sure.
obviously, the time is limited here. I, I have some skin in the game. I've got the G'day token, and I'm
Very nice.
attempting to bring some utility to it. And I'm reminded of Hart's Law from my previous investigation, documentary movie film. You might have
Mm-hmm.
seen it.
I
Your
have.
brother featured quite prominently.
It's great work. I'm a huge fan, Tom Peter.
I appreciate that, mate. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears actually, and a fuck ton of time. Anyway, what what can I learn from Hart's Law in terms of how I can bring utility to my project? Also on Pulse Chain, actually, no longer on Ethereum because of fees, transaction fees, etc.
Well, what you could do with to help out your good day token, you probably already have paired it with some pretty successful tokens like HOA. Shout out to HOA. I love the HOA and I hold their token. You probably have paired it with that as well. If you pair a token with anything that goes up, you go up. Richard will give you a better definition, but if it goes up together, price goes up. If it goes down, they could also run away from each other, and that means you'll get the slinky effect. You'll get more of the other token. So as long as you have it paired with successful projects, if you look at, like, for example, Rob, there's some hex pairs Pulse, obviously. We got HOA. There's HOA pairs. There's a lot of different pairs, and it, what I'm fortunate of is a lot of holders bought the token and then paired it with their favorite meme token, and they have their own pools over here just sitting, and then bots or whoever's arbitraging it, and they're making pennies off the fees, off the small bots and things like that, and even more whenever there's larger trades.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So the more pairs with successful other successful projects or other
Maybe not more,
strong
but
strong.
maybe not more or so, because you could have less, but with the equal. If it goes up 100%, you know what I mean? It goes up 100%. It doesn't matter how many of them, right? So just good pairing with successful projects will help with Hart's Law.
Gotcha. Okay. And it was the Hoa Bros that helped me out. The Tang helped me out with this to kickstart this project. And I've had people. Oh fuck, we're down to 10 minutes already. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's fine. If we can, I don't know if you want to restart and do another one or something. We can. I don't care.
Yeah, we might. Well, yeah, we'll see how we go. Yeah, it's been a long fucking day, but what was I saying? The Tang fellas helped.
Sorry if I held you up to this and you didn't want to do it. But, I don't know.
No,
Just
no, not
be
at all,
direct.
mate.
All right.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I had a when we set that pool up, that pair,
Mm-hmm.
I had a bunch of people texting me saying, "Fucking destroy some of it or lock some of it or what." I haven't done anything with it.
You get a lot of people telling you what to do with your token.
It
That's what I've
right.
learned.
And for me, I was like, "This is going to be the world's first fucking documentary coin, right? I'm going to use this to somehow gamify the documentary experience."
Yeah.
And I've so far that concept hasn't worked out. But is there a path there for me to pursue in terms of just creating some more intrigue from the general community in how I
Clout.
handle this take?
Clout is my brother and I like to call. Clout.
What's
We're
that?
looking for clout.
Clout. Is that with a K?
Yes. Uh, it depends on what your neighborhood you're in, but I think C typically.
Righto. Yeah. So we're trying to develop clout
Yes.
amongst the community.
Giveaways. Now, if you have a little bit, I did a meme competition the other day and I gave out just a little bit. It was a couple bucks to everyone who participated. So
Yeah, we
as
did a
long as you did,
competition
yeah,
last year. That was kind of interesting. That was interesting. But no, I haven't fucking done any airdrops or given anything out. I haven't even, I don't dare touch the bloody thing in case I break something, to be honest.
yeah, it's scary. Just put a little bit in a wallet separately, so then you can just only deal with that wallet, and then throw out $5 at a time, $3 whenever someone makes a cool meme or something.
Well, that's the problem, mate. I think I locked the entire amount.
Liquidity pool.
It's all, I think I don't have anything to play with, so I'd have to
How
somehow
long did you
figure out.
lock it?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't lock it, but I think everything is in the pool, if you know what I mean. So I'd have to,
Oh, okay.
I don't know
You
what
have to
I,
pull from the pool a little bit.
yeah, which apparently is not,
Is
doesn't,
rugging it.
doesn't look
Yeah.
good. Exactly. I'm trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
avoid fucking it up. But I mean, the fellas, have been the Ten Gang fellas have been very supportive. So we'll see how things unfold with that shit. But right now, I'm focused on just trying to get Degens in the room from a variety of communities, so I can get some sort of baseline understanding of what Degens hope for the future of mankind, if you like. I recently graduated as an ethnologist from the Sydney University here, so I'm very, very stoked to launch
Congratulations.
my first project in with my new skill sets. I was crypto scamdemic investigator prior to going back to school. So I'm very, very looking forward to introducing and honing my new skills in this space because I think I might be at the forefront of something. If you watch any of the mainstream docos on crypto, you'll know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
They don't really cut they don't really cut between the lines and get into the good stuff.
not at all.
But anyway, right, we're down to like the last 6 minutes here, and I'm going to try and pick up these last few questions. Peer pressure versus independent choice in market analysis. Talk on that a little bit because obviously you've got a lot of peer pressure in these communities. FOMOing and fudding. How do you stay strong or independent to your own choices, navigate this
I'm glad
landscape?
you asked that question, Tom Peter. Um, this is the way I've found. So my dearest friend saw me. You may have heard of him.
He's
Um,
the Aussie fella.
mhm. He's taught me essentially that when I feel an emotion, ignore it and do the opposite.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Because the crowd is always wrong.
So it's the reverse of the wisdom of the crowd in crypto then.
Yeah, you know the bell curve, the IQ bell curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't listen to anybody
So the
except my
default,
brother. Listen to Richard Hart.
well, we'll all be listening to him soon enough, as far as I understand. I've been trying to follow that case as well. I'd really like to dig into series two, second series, but so essentially, always go with independent choice, ignore the masses, but play the role of a community member and try to deliver value that best you can, even though nobody's listening to each other because of
Don't ignore the masses. Think about what they're saying and why they're saying it. Understand what they're saying and why they're saying it, but whether you follow that is up to however you navigate that scenario in your own mind.
yeah. And that comes back to this 4D chess game theoretical elements of these projects. Why why does it appear religious, military, drugged up, and disabled people are primarily targeted for crypto projects?
Targeted or participating.
Well, it seems like, regardless, I hop in and out of communities all over the bloody, not just Impulse and Hex and what have you. And
Hmm.
it's very rare that you find educated, somewhat intelligent sounding people in the space. A lot of them seem, yeah, I mean, somebody would have onboarded them and, they
Hmm.
get stuck into these projects and they kind of can't leave because it's a casino, etc., etc. There's that addictive quality to it. Um, Participating, yes, they are participating, but how did they get there and whom targeted or onboarded them? You see a lot of talk about onboarding. Do you have a specific understanding of that?
They're no longer the smarts.
What's
To sum it up, it's our turn.
so
The people that tuck their shirts into their socks, the people that spend 9 hours a day working, I have to do that too. But
hmm.
that's not the end all be all. Freedom is upon us.
So it's the
And
the rise of the brotards in a way.
the Rob Tards.
Well, the rise of the uneducated and unwashed masses. This is what blockchain people. This is what
Well,
this is.
I wouldn't call it uneducated because we're the people that have educated ourselves so extremely much that we've know almost all there is to know about blockchain as a community whole. Like there's some of us that have put in the hours. We might sound ridiculous because we didn't learn this in college. We didn't learn this in high school from a professor. We went out and found this our own by ourselves. And it's the self-educated that go this route, the street smart people. You probably finds more weed dealers in here than anywhere else because they also understand math.
Street savvy business fellas,
The
but
ha- the have-nots that were are street savvy. Yeah, I don't think they're targeted. I think that, for example, like maybe the more extreme people go the path of DeFi. So people that are, I don't know how else to put it. Um, there's a lot of marathon runners out there. But the funny thing about marathon runners is a lot of them were previous addicts and they filled that void with something. So I think that DeFi is one of those things that fill a void. For it goes into the Degen category of gambling. They found something they've connected with, and then they just go all out for it. You know,
no, I can dig that. I mean, there is plenty of studies there out there around people that get, hyper hooked into like being healthy. They get really overly obsessed with
mm-hmm.
training and eating right and what have you. And now there's even some DeFi apps in that space which are rewarding such behavior. So that's going to intensify it for those people, I'd imagine. Um, but okay, next question. How does one know when one is entering useful idiot territory in DeFi in the Degen space? And what I mean by useful idiot territory is where there are puppet masters and there are puppets, and often younger people perhaps wander into this space and become these types of useful idiots that puppet masters or people with more power or network are able to manipulate these people. What are some clear signs that you've wandered into that territory?
When you see small factions break off into a new thing, on X you see a lot of people. It's almost like high school. It's almost like the high school cafeteria tables. You got a table here, here's the cool kids, here's I don't know, the skateboarders, here's I don't know, soccer players, um, or cheerleaders. I don't know. And whenever you see them all start working in unison to do one thing, you know that there is insider information going on.
So when everybody falls into line in terms of the messaging.
Yes. Whenever you start seeing a group of people come together as one to push out a message. Now you could look at that both nefariously and positively with a unifying measure.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because I've observed a number of people, newcomers and you can see that somehow they've been onboarded in a very, very specific way and perhaps are well resourced as well by some entity. And they come in waves almost, and they come through and then they it's like, yeah, they become useful idiots, but maybe they know
Yeah.
or are aware of that. It's just
Well,
a
yeah, for example, like if you see small factions on X pushing like reflection tokens on Pulse chain, it's like they're the same group of people. You know that these are the reflection token people. So whenever there's a new token made, they'll just like go onto that reflection token thing. So that I suppose those are the useful idiots. I'm not sure if they're really even useful. They just tell you what not to do. So I guess that's useful. Yeah.
Right,
Shout
okay.
out to them. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a question of are they aware that they are have become a useful idiot? Are they in on the bigger picture or not?
I think we're all pawns in this game of humanity, honestly. I
Yeah,
think we're
some of
all
us,
useful idiots.
yeah, I guess some of us are just privy to either more information or more experience than others.
The insider information thing is really only down to like, oh, I know this influencer is about to show my thing. And then you get in early on that thing and then it goes up, right? That's the information that everyone wants. What's going to be the next thing before the thing? So people network and try to find that guy. They try to climb their ladder up the echelon of celebrity hex influencers.
Yeah, they're looking for the edge. They call it in trading, don't they? They're looking for their edge, always looking for that edge. I get that, and that is clear to observe with individual influencers. But it's when you get hundreds or thousands of micro influencers that are kind of like a swarm that are all on point, and it's
When
just
you
fascinating.
when you see a lot of the bigger ones work together, you know something's up. But it's probably too late then by then, you know. So you
Yeah.
got to have your tentacles in every little community, even ones you get banned and kicked out of the telegrams. Ugh.
Yeah. And are you familiar with Eric Wall? He was the arch enemy of your
You
brother
could you
for
could say
some time.
you could say I'm familiar with him.
Yeah, so there is a quote on his Twitter. Well, there was. I haven't looked recently, but it said the gang secures the budget. You may have seen that quote before. He had it pinned at the top of his Twitter profile. Do you
The
know what that?
gangs the gang secures the budget.
Yeah, do you know what that means? Is that a Degen term?
No, I don't know what that means. I've never really understood that man.
No, he's
He could be doing better. He could be doing better.
well, he seems to have learned a hell of a lot from the time that he spent with the Hexicans in regards to what he's doing now with
He's
Wizard.
improving. He's improving.
Yeah,
So
he's certainly learned something in the meme token or NFT space. I see what they've been doing with Bitcoin as well. I've been watching. I don't know if you're a Bitcoiner yourself, but I mean,
no, the only energy I really have time is in my brother's ecosystem. I'm a big bro maxi, so
I can dig that. Okay, and what the bloody hell is liquidity bonded amplification? I understand this is at the beating heart of Hex or Pulse, but I still have not been able to get my head around it.
um that would to me mean the amplification of the liquidity. Now, that would mean the liquidity is getting thicker, I would think. And if that happens, that means there's less price volatility. I like price volatility more because the number goes up, if that's what we're referring to.
Yeah, I've seen it come up a number of times from Hexagon OGs, I guess you could call them. Often they say now everyone's going to feel the power of liquidity bonded amplification, and I've seen it a number of times
Oh,
recently.
I think it's just another way of saying Hart's law and how once things start pumping, everything's going to pump. I
And
think that's
vice,
I
not
think that's what that
necessarily vice
translates.
versa, but
I'm sorry.
not necessarily. vice versa, though, I've noticed when a lot of things dump, other things pump.
I like to think of crypto as like fluid through tubes, and it fills different things whenever it moves around. Actually, this is what blockchain is. Think of a bicycle chain, then put little spreadsheets on every chain link. But the catch is this bicycle chain is inflatable. And then we build our little pockets, bubbles up on top of these chain links. And then when someone goes, they inflate the bicycle chain. And Hart's law is that air maneuvering through these pairs that are bonded, these links. That's how I make sense of it in my mind.
That's a great visual. No, that's a really useful visual, actually.
Thank you. The visuals are basically all I have to work with these days. But yeah, for instance, Rob is a little bubble I minted on top of a chain link. And whenever Godwell pumps Hex or pumps Pulse, that liquidity flows into the system like and then those ARB bots are buying up the price of that token you have just by someone buying Pulse and Hex. Everything gets inflated. And it's really beautiful to see, especially on chain, because you see a lot of these transactions and they are small, but they're getting bigger and bigger. And they're not humans, they're bots, but they're creating value in it because of my brother's law, Hart's law.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to observe, actually. Anyway, that was my last question. Is there anything you want me to ask you that you want to touch on that I haven't touched on? Obviously, I don't think anybody's interested in these more generic questions like what's your favorite crypto meme or inside joke.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Um, maybe I could say a thing for my brother. Maybe you can ask me something about Richard and I could
Yeah, I mean, I
ask it.
I do have a direct line to that fella, your brother. Spoke to him a few months ago. I don't know why he still responds to me. I'm hoping that he'll give me an interview for the second season of the Time Value of Money one day, but you never know. But I mean, I'd be happy to forward him a clip from this interview if you have a message for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I could. Um, you could ask me something like, "Is there something you have to say about your brother Richard, or is there?" And I'll have I'm gonna wing a monologue for my outro.
You fucked your audio again somehow there.
Can you hear me?
That's better.
All right.
Tell me what you miss most about your brother and what you're gonna do when you finally get reunited.
I Before we get started, I truly apologize, Richard, for the trouble that I've caused you in the past. I regret everything that happened, and I had to spend that time away. And I've put in a lot of work and efforts to be what I believe is the changed man I am today. I miss you, Richard. I I truly do. Maybe not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, maybe, but maybe one day we'll be the unit that we once were. And maybe, just unblock me, maybe, Richard. Like people have to forward me screenshots of your tweets. I miss you, man. Just be nice if you unblock me. Thank you.
Beautiful. It was very heartfelt.
Thank you.
Right on, mate. Well, listen, is there anyone else I should talk to about this?
Um,
Cool.
Sami,
Yeah, so I got Somi on the list. I've also got that big black fella. What's his name that
B
everybody?
Roots.
Yeah, yeah. I've
You
you
know,
reckon
yeah, I do recommend it. I met B Roots at CZ's Hex party, and he was all cool with me. Shook his hand. He was just like, "We're gonna make you viral." Me go viral. I'm like, "What are you talking about? Me go viral?" It's like, okay, well, hell yeah, dude. He's a cool guy. And then we get back on Twitter, and he pretends like I don't exist again. But he's the only token he's ever shilled without owning is Rob. He was clout chasing my name, took a picture with me, and then hashtag Rob. Yeah, the number went up a little bit, but you know,
yeah, the thing to do,
we're gonna onboard B Root soon. But he just didn't get any pre-allocation, so
right on. And right, okay. I'm going to be following your project, continue following your project. Obviously, Degen generation is there's endless stories to pursue
yeah,
projects.
yeah.
And so I may circle back with
Well,
you.
we can do like like we could collab on something for some weird thing for an NFT maybe or something like that. Or
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've been I spoke to Famous with an
yeah,
F, or was it a
yeah.
PH? Might be a PH.
Famous. Is famous Safuru.
Yeah, he came with a suggestion that I do some NFT project with G'day and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'd look into that.
I would go with them with the Tang Gang. They did they. It's like on a conveyor belt with them, so they're gonna do it the easiest way. And
Yeah, no,
making an NFT isn't really easy, so there's a lot
well,
of different ways to do it.
that's for sure. And I have been documenting the birth of that. I mean, I've been with those guys since day one, so I've documented the birth of that community, and I continue to try to keep up, but it's just, honestly, mate, I've hopped in a few spaces and what have you, and I just get really fucking bored of the conversations. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of innovation being
What
discussed.
what I don't like is that was the vibe on ETH NFT worlds, like NFT spaces where the spaces sound like just a used car salesman type vibe of just over ambitious, like toxic positivity. This JPEG's going to the moon. Get the fuck out of here, dude. It's just a JPEG, and you're charging how much of Richard's tokens for it? You know what I mean? It just seems like there was at some point it lost touch, and I was in there early on it, and I kind of like I saw some of like people that aren't even in the Tang Gang started making really bad Tang Gang NFTs. Everyone, you know what I mean? It just turned into just a mess, and I didn't like it. And I spoke out, and they booted me because I don't like the manufacturing of AI NFTs just to make the fucking like people are charging a lot of money for that, and it's almost predatory. Because I know how long it takes to make art, and I know how long it takes to make AI.
Yeah.
There's a balance between it, I believe. You can make
Yeah.
AI, but that's up. For, that's a topic that
I've spent a lot of time with artists and creators online as well, and the same conversations are being have had by very well established artists and photographers that have been professionals in their area for decades, trying to understand how these NFTs deliver some additional value. And it's heartbreaking, honestly. It's kind of it's yeah.
they can. Whenever if there's a utility, I break it into two categories though: art or utility, right? Now, if there's an artist that is making one of a kinds, amazing. But I feel like the artists right now, we're too early to really onboard actual artists. So we have crypto people making art. That's basically, what it's been for a while, so it'd be cool if we can go out to a street art festival and onboard an actual artist that makes one offs, or people that already do digital art that don't know about NFTs and bring them in instead of just taking an NFT, putting a filter on it, and then say it's some new revolutionary shit. You know what I mean? Without utility, just being a trend. It's like the cool kids table. You're not cool if you don't have the. Get the fuck out of here. It's like the mob mentality. It like you said earlier, individualism versus the masses. So you have to in crypto balance between the two. If you speak out against the masses, you'll be shunned by them. And I'm a perfect example of that. But I see the opposite side is whenever people just dick ride and dick ride, and they're just their followers and not leaders.
Right on, mate. Final thoughts. Your brother, I've been watching the hexaconos kind of the appearance of them sort of the community fracturing
Uh
around the ongoing SEC versus Richard Hart story.
huh.
Where do you lie? What's your opinion on what's happening right now in regards to that?
He's gonna win easy.
And it's because he is able to prove
He
that um,
he, he
he never
intentionally,
held anything.
because why?
Well,
He doesn't hold anything.
because of the decentralization, the distributed nature of blockchain technology, I understand his argument is that the you never own crypto, right? You just have the keys to access a balance, right? So there's
That that is one argument to it. That it's freedom of speech, and but the other thing is he didn't he worked for years to make sure this thing would pass the Howey test. Like heavy, like he's years in advance. Like he's ahead of the game. Everything that he told me that was going to happen is happening. Basically in the same exact time period as well. And everything's going exactly as planned. The freedom of speech is a new argument that is revolutionary that I never even thought of. You know, I remember him telling me about that years ago. And I was just like, you're truly onto something. You truly are.
right on. Well, Shane, mate, appreciate you taking the time, mate.
Absolutely, Tom. Peter, it was a pleasure.
I
The
am.
pleasure's mine. Hey, are you doing the world record thing with Matty Allen? He's doing a stream for all like as many streamers on one YouTube, and it's gonna be soon. I think I'm trying to find a link.
Oh, I think that happened last week, mate.
No, it's happening today. Pretty sure because I signed up for it. Trying to find the link.
Matty Allen usually flicks me a message when he wants me to do something, and I haven't had any messages from him. But
Oh,
I did have a message this morning from some other people asking me to hop on a live stream for a
he,
debate, some Hexagon people.
what they're doing is they're trying to maybe that's different, but on Matty Allen's stream, he's trying to break the world record for most streamers on YouTube at one time. So
Fucking hell. Gonna break the internet.
I don't know. I don't know he's doing it.
I'll be off to bed shortly, mate. So I probably won't be in it. I think yeah, that's right. He's in Chicago or something, isn't he? So he's on what's that time? EMT or ETC or some shit. That's when I'm
What?
fast asleep.
I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. The world record most YouTubers live is at 2:45 p.m. So you'll be sleeping. It's in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know what time it was. Cool. But
Well,
yeah, I mean it. As for the interview, I'm sure there's a couple clips. I don't. I'm not really actually good at this, and I wasn't in the right mindset to throw like I don't know. Um,
no, there was no expectations, mate. I mean, you handled. I got some good shit out of those questions, which I'm very grateful of. So, but
this is a less silly one because it's 10 in the morning for me, so I can't activate that part of me. Sometimes it can be stressful sometimes.
yeah, no, it's all good. I appreciate the honesty, and I think honest, they got some good stuff there for I'm trying to reach a broader audience as well. So some insights. You've definitely delivered some insights there that the general public probably won't ever be aware to or privy to.
Yeah, I mean that's probably where I lack is connecting with the general public, but I try. But hell yeah, if you need anything else, you want to do another thing, just let me know. I'm available until I get a job. So.